staying within the Bitcoin thing for one last thing, what price would you advise people to get in IBIT?
Great question. Let me look at this. I love it if it gets back down to 25.83. Going back to being patient. It debuted at 27.94. It's on a hell of a run. It's at 41.46 right now. You cannot buy 10 to 15% from the high. So that's where I like it. I'm going to be greedy, I'll wait till the yearly open of 27.94 and buy there. So those are the two prices that I like. So it may run away, but at some point we'll have a pullback. You may have to wait till after halving, and you'll be good.
And that's the Bitcoin.
It's an ETF.
ETF.
It's an ETF.
Yeah, I gave you the other one, BitB, BITB. Similar. Mm-hmm. You could look at the chart, look at its extension. Another Bitcoin ETF.
What's the benefit for? Cause I already know it's going to be pushed back to say if you don't own the coins, you don't own crypto. It's not you're not owning Bitcoin if you invest in the ETF, but the ETF is also regulated, so you have protection in place as opposed to owning.
Yeah.
So what would be the advantages or disadvantages as far as owning crypto Bitcoin in an ETF as opposed to the regular way?
Number one thing is price, because most people don't have $73,000 for one coin.
But you can also buy fractional shares for Bitcoin though. So that's the good thing with crypto is that you could put $100 in the Bitcoin and own 0.1 whatever that equals.
Yeah.
But when the other part is that when you're buying it, especially, and we know because we've purchased Bitcoin before, the regulation that comes with that, I mean, it could be the Wild Wild West, right? If I use Binance, it can get tricky.
Well, that's the number one thing. It's security.
Right? Like
to me, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It's regulated. The stock market is regulated. You're not going to get robbed for your money. That would be the biggest thing as far as a security standpoint. That would, and it's what an institution. It's not just I would think that would be the number one and probably the only advantage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You asked the question.
Safety.
Safety first. Yeah, I mean, we've seen too many instances, and even like in the early days when we were trying to figure this out, getting a USB and remember your catchphrase, and if you don't have all 17 words, you can't get into your wallet. And should I keep it on or should I have a cold wallet? It's just a lot for the average person that has no idea. It's just too much of a barrier to get into. So play it safe. You know how to buy an ETF. It's very, very simple. Security and safety first.
And take an hour a day to learn about Bitcoin and crypto. That's the other part of it too. Like, or you're gonna be left behind, and then in a few years you're gonna be at 400,000. You're gonna be like, why didn't I invest? It's the same story over and over again. So
I remember when it was 20. I remember when it was 16, 3.
Yep.
Okay. What should we keep a lookout on as far as a tipping point in this country? And how should we move to protect our finances should we have a major situation?
Looking at how many CEOs continue to sell off, maybe we'll talk about it on Blackout. We have a border issue that we need to fix really bad, which in 4 or 5 years could come to fruition, and that could be another war that we have to face and fix. That can cause some damage in the economy. Lack of American innovation is something I would keep my eye out on. Like Nvidia is amazing, but we need a few more companies that are pushing innovation forward and giving better gains. And then also too, this debt crisis. Like more people are living off credit cards than ever. Defaults are getting high. Average payment for a car, I think, is $796 now. Those things have to be fixed. And I think the first political leader that comes in and actually poses a solution to those things, they'll sweep whoever they're running against. So those are the things I'm keeping my eyes out on for sure.
So
what about you guys?
What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst scenario?
Is it conflict?
Yeah, well, like this is the thing. So this is, it's one of these things.
I'll answer it, but it's a blackout answer.
We saw Greece a few years ago where there was a run on the banks, and then they stopped people from actually trying to let them get their money. What's the worst that can happen?
They already have a limit on how much you can take out now.
Well, yeah, I mean, like they ain't even you couldn't even take money out the bank. They was like, no,
we need it.
If it wasn't for crypto, I think we would have had two major banks either collapse or have to merge. San Francisco's in shambles. Part of LA is in shambles. I don't know if we'll ever see a commercial real estate market go back to the heights of 2010 and 11. I think it's finito. You at one point you may be able to go into a Simon Mall, buy some shoes, and go upstairs and go live. People are like, even when I'm traveling, I'm not seeing as much traffic unless I'm in New York City. Every other city, traffic is way lighter. Everything is down, and they're acting like everything is fine. So I think they'll prevent a run on the bank, and I think that's why they moved that definition of what a recession is. So, and no one's telling the truth. Got a big migrant issue. Even the some immigrants are not able to get an interest-only loan when people can't get mortgage forgiveness. How? Eric Adams, your days are numbered, my boy. How, Sway? Please tell me how that makes sense. And then, okay, then the border issue of infiltration from the cartels here. No one's talking about it. We save it for blackout, but Aztecs and the Zetas and Jalisco, every major county, every major city. It's a lot of shit going on that nobody wants to talk about. And Biden looked great at the State of the Union. He came out like loaded Lux. He was not playing. But there's a lot of issues. If I'm looking at a SWOT analysis, let's do this. Put it in chat. Maybe we can do a poll. Are you confident in the American economy for your family for the next 5 years? Yes or no? It's a bad time. If you contrast that with Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, confidence is through the roof. We have pockets. Miami is confident because of crypto. But if you look at Chicago, St. Louis, parts of New Jersey, LA, Tacoma, Portland, not Milwaukee, not that confident. Phoenix, not that confident.
Shout out to the good folks in Tacoma.
Big facts. Love Washington.
So what's the backup plan for people?
Continue to invest, continue to build businesses, and work hard every day. I think that's the part that people forget. Like, we don't do this show every week just because, like, we're educating, but also leading by example. I know people like, well, you need balance. I would rather the balance in the bank and the portfolio be really high than to get 3 or 4 days off and things not be okay.
So should people be hoarding cash right now? Should they not be making big purchases? Should they stay away from buying real estate? Should they stay away?
Buy real estate, but I said last year for the next 4 or 5 years, I don't think anybody should make any big purchases unless you just like.
You said 4 or 5 years.
Let's look at leadership across the board. Yeah. Xi Jinping, okay, but older. Tucker Carlson, great interview with Putin, but even in that interview, they said they strapped his arm down to not show the Parkinson's.
Who? Putin?
Biden.
Or
yes, and Putin.
Okay.
Biden at best. So if we're looking at 3 of the big leaders for major continents, they're elder, and those who are running the countries are elderly as well. It's time for a succession plan. America does not have one. On either side, RFK doesn't have a great chance of winning, but no one is confident in Biden for sure. And there's some issues on the Democratic side. I don't see 4 or 5 potential superstars out of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but even with some of these succession plans, some of these conflicts will stay in place, right? The U.S. Russia, there's a conflict in Ukraine and Russia. So, like, what is?
But and if we're going to be very honest, Biden dropped the ball on that. But see, we can't talk about the real reason why.
On what? Ukraine, Russia?
Yeah, my kid got a business there. Come on. Then we got to involve BlackRock, and this is Game of Thrones for real. And you know who cares none in this? BlackRock's are going to end up with most of the land in Ukraine. They're going to end up with all the Bitcoin, all the fucking houses. They're going to be the greatest landlord of history. And one time internationally, they may even buy Alibaba at one point. There's a rumor about that. They don't care about the people. Like, one of the biggest stock investment companies of all time hedged with real estate. No one can do anything about it. Then it came into crypto. I tried to warn everybody. They called me conspiracy theorist and he didn't know, and you're pushing FUD. And here come Larry Fink, like Big Meech in Bitcoin. Shot the dude. I pray you get out soon. Like, like if you see the big companies start to hedge, there's some shit coming. They didn't want to be in crypto, but everyone talked it up so much. Well, if this thing is so important to the people, let me go take all of it. That's how they doing publishing with the music business. Okay, great. This the hottest artist on earth. They did like Michael Jackson. I want one of those, and let me get one of those. Cool. Eminem got to talking crazy to Michael Jackson when I bought the masters. BlackRock's doing the same thing. We need to get along. And for those of you who don't get along, we need to get along and not create conflict because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. So Biden could have went to Putin and said, hey, yeah, they're kind of encroaching on your territory. You want it to be in NATO. We can't have that happen, but let me keep Ukraine over from some of your land. Now Putin's like, well, if you're not going to protect me, let's go to war with everybody. And then let's BRICS team up. And then BRICS is getting hotter than ever. There's no money in war unless you sell the arms. And even if all your clients kill each other, what good does it do?
There's a great piece that I sent you, Ian. You should definitely take a look at.
Okay, I'm looking at it right now. Hold on, let me go review the film. So,
geopolitical conversation.
A bunch of risk. Ooh,
yeah, good article. Good article.
Got you.
Yes,
geopolitical conversation.
But like you said, the political landscape will tell you where the money is going to flow. Before hedge funds make a decision on this, and that's the thing what I said with AMC and Doge. It was like, okay, great. Yeah, I know AMC was supposed to be the asset that the people took over to make him burst his portfolio. But look at how much, even after that, Gabe went and did the deal with Michael to get the Hornets off of him. Great. He's going to get his good back regardless. And now every hedge fund on earth has taken the entire community that love crypto and made it a fan of major banks backing it. Damn, that's a great magic trick. Shadi, can you call them for the masterclass too? Like how you get people that hated you. We hate the banks and we want people. Now, I'm asking now, is Bitcoin decentralized or no?
The age-old question. No way.
Centralized.
But when I said it, I get it. Sometimes y'all don't. It's my delivery, Trey. I'm learning. It's all in the delivery. I could have delivered it better, right?
Yeah, you got to match the energy.
Big facts. So it's just interesting times we learn. But the politics set where the funds will go, and then from there, hedge funds begin to deploy capital in those areas. Us retail traders follow it. I just try and read so much and put dots together so I can kind of be ahead of the curve a little bit. But we're in a very interesting political landscape, and everyone's afraid, and no one wants to say anything.